Hi everyone, my name is Darian McNee, studying at Robertson College. Today we're going to discuss cyber security risk, and today's date is April 11th, 2022, presented for Allison Goldman. When we talk about some cyber risk breaches, a lot of people aren't aware on the impact that it can have on your business. So it's projected between 2021 and 2025, there's going to be $200 billion that is going to basically affect businesses because of different security issues that they've had. And in 2018, it was reported that there was 1.4 million fraud reports. So and this is just with payment fraud. Can you imagine in all the businesses around the world, when you start talking about numbers like $200 billion, obviously you need to look at this and understand that this drastically affects your business, and you need to be proactive and finding ways to basically combat different things in this area, especially with e-business, because a lot of your equipment is open a lot of times to other people. So this is one aspect that definitely needs to be considered, is payment fraud, and the fact $200 billion by 2025. Something that a lot of people don't know is there are people out there right now that are basically trying to duplicate other websites. So when they do this, basically they're trying to show that they're the merchant, even though they aren't. So when they're doing this, that basically gives shoppers, people that are looking for registrations, purchasing tickets, all of these different types of things, when they're on these websites that aren't secure, they're leaving themselves open for merchant identity fraud, which is also another very large area of concern. And because people are pretending to be something or someone that they aren't, but they make it look like it's the real site. And this is something that is very troublesome for a lot of people as well. I'm sure a lot of people are going to agree with me here that bots are quickly becoming one of the most annoying things that affect your business. There's a lot of different uses with them, good and bad, obviously. They allow you to do a lot of different things that can help provide a good customer experience. But here's the problem with that. A lot of times they're used to do different things that could ultimately break trust with your customers. Okay, there's a lot of they're able to scan for personal information, and that can ultimately be held against that business. And when you look at what they're able to do as they scan messages, they're able to scan websites, they're able to duplicate things, they're able to make different recordings and use that information in a negative manner. So much so, in 2019, there was $201 million that resulted from different boss usages that have affected businesses, and over 7.9 million people that have been affected on that. So when you put that into perspective, you have to understand, once that trust is broken with a company, a lot of times, unless you're Apple, Walmart, Amazon, unless you have a big name like that, that could ultimately put your company in bankruptcy, and you lose your customers for life. There's one case in particular that I'd like to speak about today with Desjardins, and in 2019, it affected the 9.7 million Canadians, and they're still facing a class action lawsuit in upwards of $2.1 million because of a breach that happened because of a bot. So when people don't use or have the right type of security for their business, they're definitely putting themselves at a major risk, especially with today's technology. You can do all this stuff from home. Have a registered ISP, and you don't have to worry about even logging into their systems. They've got bots that are almost untraceable now. So this puts your business at a huge risk, breaks trust, affects a lot of people. So something to think about as you look at different things within your business. If you don't have this right now, you're putting yourself at risk. SSL security certificates have the lock at the top when you're on a browser. All right? So if that doesn't have that lock, you actually don't know if you're on the real website or not. This could be very troublesome for a lot of businesses because people are always trying to steal different information and copying the actual website but not having the security there. So the question you obviously have is, how do you protect yourself, right? Because as a business owner, you want to make sure that there's no duplication. So when you're on there, you want to make sure as you register your site that you're the one that has the secure name linked to your domain, and this is definitely going to make sure that you have the right information for your customers, and it shows your customers that it's the secure site. Because let's say you go to Nike. One of them has that little lock in the corner and one of them doesn't. The one that doesn't obviously isn't a secure site. So as you're going through this, you want to make sure that you're educating your employees how to keep the data secure. You don't want to be giving information out to random people that are calling trying to pretend that there's somebody else. That's something that I'm learning about right now working with a company. Is there's a lot of spammers out right now that are trying to get information so that they can go and make these fake sites, and it puts a poor taste in people's mouths. So one way to prevent that from happening is proper education. Make sure your site is secure, and understand that this is going to cost some money. Have you ever been held for ransom? I certainly haven't, but I can tell you it's probably not a very fun situation to be in. So when we talk about cyber attacks, this is one thing that is happening all over the world right now, whether it's websites, domains, your PayPals, and other things like that. People get access to that and they basically hold it for ransom and say, hey, guess what? You have to pay to get this information back. Obviously, it's not a very fun situation. And between 2015 and 2021, companies have been held ransom. It's doubled to over $6 billion. So a couple ways to keep in mind on how to transition from that. Obviously, you need to keep your system updated, your computer programs, make sure that you have a dedicated team that will be able to respond quickly in case something ever happens or goes wrong, and develop those plans where if there is a breach in your system, you've got an immediate response plan, like an ERP in place, the same as you would in a fire drill. Hey, guess what? Our company is literally on fire right now. What are we going to do? How are we going to prevent this from completely destroying our reputation? And ultimately, at the end of the day, that comes down to, if you spend time training your employees and limit the information that you share to people, even people that you know. at times, because it's becoming more evident that it doesn't even matter if they've been a longtime employee, if they've been a friend of a friend, or if they're just a family friend. In today's world, unfortunately, we have to look at the facts, and the facts are we have to keep that information for our business within our business and within our organization. And that is definitely going to help you stay moving forward and be able to provide the best services for your customers, clients, and making sure their information is always safe, because nobody wants to be held ransom for anything. The way I look at it is, can you imagine if someone took your child and said that you either need to pay this or else? Certainly that wouldn't be a lot of fun, but there's a lot of things that you can do to lead up to try and prevent that. So that's where we're going to leave that. So don't be held for ransom. So as a quick recap, make sure that you protect yourself, because none of us want to spend money that we don't need to. But understand, if you want your business to be safe, don't be afraid to research. Don't be afraid to spend that money. Do not, and I repeat, do not be afraid to spend money to educate and research based on your particular situation, because it will save you a lot of money in the long term, and it will definitely help your business grow. It'll be able to provide the security for your customers and clients that they're looking for. As always, I'd like to thank everyone that's been able to provide information for this. And if you want a complete list of the references, please refer to your provided handout. Thank you again, and I hope you guys all enjoyed this. Have a wonderful day.